VERI, VENIVERSUM, VIVUS, VICI. By the power of truth, I, while living, have conquered the universe. The Royal Order of the Divine Light, the Future Light Kingdom Party, Hermes de Caduceus, and EXJ Global News Network. We wish to illuminate justice, veritas, for you, the people, as you, the people, deserve to be communicated with honesty and openness and transparency. Mr. Trump on numerous occasions sent the officials of the Central Intelligence Agency back to school. The 58 former national security officials, among them Madeleine Albright and Elliot Cohen, have clearly documented that what we are currently looking at is a fake state of emergency, which in fact Mr. Trump himself confirmed also in his own speech. It is a material fact that all sanctions, all activities, as we allege, are based on one systematic pattern only, and that is dedicated to personal empowerment and enrichment of the Trump and Kushner empire. And we will illustrate that here on a foundation of full transparency. Let us look at the subject matter, the border wall. Mr. Trump knew and should have known that Mexico is not interested, has never been a subject in paying for a border wall. He has never communicated such intent to realize a border wall paid for the Mexicans with the leadership of the Mexican government. He has communicated just as a simple rabbit out of a hat, a situation, a political promise that from the beginning was a fraudulent lie, as the reality today confirms. Mr. Trump, after communicating that there will be a border wall paid by Mexico, begged the Mexican president to actually agree to such term. And of course Mexico rejected such ludicrous claim and intends to build a border wall that Mexico shall pay for. What followed was nothing other than locking up children, separating families from each other in order for an emergency declaration to be in the near future realized, and to illustrate again that the border wall subject is something that now the American people supposed to pay for. It is not about the children, it is not about the families that are separated. And as the 58 former national security officials now confirm, it is not a national emergency, but it is the intent for Mr. Trump to realize a border wall that is pursued here with an intent that is to the utmost concern, as we allege that there only can be financial interests attached to it. Donald Trump used the federal workers. He blackmailed, extorted money from the American people for the border wall, as we allege, on behalf of the federal workers, taking their money, taking their income, taking the perspective of future income, and their safety and security in every personal financial aspect. Many of them affected, of course, have been working for the Federal Bureau of Investigations, which he also wanted to teach a lesson. You are either with Trump or there is no food on the table. Whatever there is desired, it shall be executed in accordance to the Trump agenda, to the Trump scheme and scam, as we allege. The federal workers have been used to extort the border wall. When this did not work, federal workers received again their paychecks, but a state of emergency was declared in order for the American people now finally to be confronted with the reality: you have to pay now for the wall. And we will take money from wherever we find fitting in order for us to realize that wall. And immediately after such declaration of Mr. Trump, a meeting of the contractors of Trump and Kushner took place. Now, The future Light Kingdom Party can't help as to find the similar pattern as we allege in the Qatar situation of blackmail and extortion related to funding of the 666 building in New York City to have been taken place. We allege that very clearly Mr. Kushner, with collaboration of Trump, realized then a state of emergency, placing Qatar in isolation in order for the funding to be realized. Now, after the meeting has taken place with contractors by Kushner and Trump, suddenly the Kushner organization is requesting federal funding for over $1 billion. Royal, noble, honorable brothers and sisters here in the United States and from around the world, just connect the dots. Just go 1 + 1, making 2. A simple calculation, and you will realize that there is a clear pattern of personal enrichment that is all linked to the same schematic, to the same scam, and that is to use power of the office for personal gains and benefits. No, the intelligence community does not have to go back to school. No, the FBI is not after Trump. We are only after the truth, and we can put together 1 + 1, and we know there's only one number that follows, and that is 2. And that is exactly what we're facing here. Not only was, as we allege, the Russian participation and Saudi Arabia's participation in the recent election a major contributor to the position that Mr. Trump currently occupies. But additionally, when we look then at the funding related to the inauguration, what has been going on there, then we will realize that there's a systematic, a pattern of personal enrichment, of fraud, of scams, of schemes that are applied of an office position that is most certainly in its very essence not a presidency that we can see fitting for the American people and for the rest of the world. This is not an American president. It is not an American president that leaves men, children and women behind, that separates families. It is not an American president that extorts from federal workers that are daily working very hard to keep this country afloat, going and successful on an international foundation. It is not a president of this country that engages in, as we allege, such scams and schemes in order for benefits to be made in Mar-a-Lago, benefits to be made from a border wall, as we allege, benefits to be made from connections with Saudi Arabia, with Russia. And the Deutsche Bank situation and scandal will also escalate. We are certain of it. We stand behind the Central Intelligence Agency. We stand behind the noble and honorable man of the FBI. And we stand with all 58 former national security officials that say this is a fake I don't know what to say. There is no national security threat. And regardless how much such story is communicated to you, it is nothing but a lie. Walk with the light. America needs the light. The Light Kingdom Party has to be supported by you. Rise with us, walk with us, and choose a path that illuminates America and that shall in the future illuminate the entire world.